During the trial of the new medicine, the test subjects were cured of all diseases at once. They simply died. When the trial began, it turned out that pharmacists had recruited homeless people and students to conduct experiments. After taking an experimental drug, one of these students turned into a zombie. In the middle of the night, he crawled out of the burial place and went to get some live meat. That same night, Jungul punctured tires on the highway and then dragged the cars in his tow truck to a repair shop. After the repair, he demanded huge sums of money, and customers had to pay. If they refused, he threatened to return the car to its original condition. Jun lived with his sister Hei and his father Mandeok. Jun's pregnant wife Namju also lived with them. They used to have a successful business, a gas station and a convenience store. Now they had to make a living from occasional earnings, and the abandoned gas station became their home. The zombie student finally made it out to the humans, except he wasn't able to eat them. The women he met along the way were too fast, and the boys he saw later threw rocks at him. He was about to eat a dog, but it was a Korean dog, and it knew how to stand up for itself. Its whole life is about efforts not to become someone's lunch. By the looks of it, the dog even goes to the gym on the weekends. It followed a zombie and chased him into the restroom. Mandeok was nearby with his elderly friends. When he noticed the zombie in the toilet, Deok tried to chase it away, but it bit the old man and ran away. On his way out, he met Hei and then another of Jun's brothers, Min-gul. Hei and the zombie immediately liked each other, but a dog was chasing them, and they had to run away. As the zombie ran through the crossroad, he was run over by Jun, so the poor dead guy flew into the stratosphere, and when he landed, decided to get away from this troubled family. Min came to his family to show them how cool he was living in Seoul. In reality, however, he had already been laid off and became a typical unemployed man. When the whole family gathered, Deok was brought in by ambulance. After the attack, his wound was treated, and he returned home. He vows revenge on the ragamuffin who bit him. Deok lives in a small camper van and dreams of going to Hawaii, but he doesn't have the money or the physical health to do it. At night, Hei hears noises from the barn where they keep the rabbits. She goes to check and finds a zombie there. He is gnawing on a cabbage head, which looks a lot like the human brain. Mandeok comes too, and when he sees his abuser, he starts to beat him up. Then Jun shows up and uses a super strike from Street Fighter. At this point, they all realize they're facing a walking dead man, as the zombie was stabbed through and through, but it was still moving. The family guesses that Deok must turn into a zombie after the bite. They knock him out and lock him in the van. Min reads everything on the internet related to their problem and composes a zombie guide. However, not only is their father not dead, but he is even more alive. Despite his advanced age, he is feeling better. They tied up the zombie student in the barn. Hei came to feed him cabbage, but Namju sent her away and pulled out all the zombie's teeth so he wouldn't bite anyone else. They didn't know yet that Deok had been rejuvenated by the bite. Mandeok was showing off to his retired friends at this time, and the old people wanted to know how he became younger. They were willing to pay any money for the anti-aging procedure, and Deok dreamed of going to Hawaii. All in all, life was getting better for him. Min overheard his father's conversation and decided to make some money off the rejuvenating properties of the zombie bite, too. He stole the dead guy and tried to take him to Seoul. On the way, he was stopped by the police. They noticed a man in a toolbox and arrested Min. To get the zombie out of the cops' clutches, Deok even had to lie that he was his son. Min was set free too. While Deok was planning his vacation to Hawaii, Hei discovered that the zombie no longer had teeth. That means the other seniors can't be rejuvenated. When the old folks came up with the money, Deok solved the problem. He took a false jaw from one of his friends and gave it to the dead guy. Then they made the zombie bite the pensioners. To whet his appetite, they poured ketchup on the old men's hands. Namju hid the proceeds in her safe. The next day, Deok stole all of Namju's money and went on vacation. Hei took the zombie to the cabbage field to cheer him up, for he loved cabbage. She tried to teach him to say her name, but the zombie couldn't speak. In the meantime, the retirees had gotten younger, and the whole town found out about it. They went to an old gas station to undergo a rejuvenation procedure as well. The Ghoul family realized it was a gold mine. They put the bite therapy on stream, making so much money that it's enough to reopen the gas station. To make the zombie's life more comfortable, the Ghoul family moves him into Deok's van and gives him new dentures. Now he eats with them at the same table, and Hei takes him to a beauty salon to get his hair and makeup done stylishly. One particularly industrious policeman ran the zombie's fingerprints through the database and realized that there was no information about him, as if he were already dead. The policeman decided to pay a visit to the ghouls and find out who this man was living with them. In the meantime, everyone who had been bitten by the zombie began to turn into the walking dead and attack the living. An epidemic of the zombie virus broke out. Realizing that her brother is up to no good, Hay gives the zombie a supply of cabbage and ketchup and chases him away. She doesn't want Min to take him to Seoul and experiment on him. Min, however, meets the zombie by chance. When they were already at the bus station, zombies came there, and Min had to hide. Meanwhile, the zombie student went back to Hay's place. He heard the girl screaming and realized she was in danger. At this time, dead men came to the Gull's gas station. A policeman also arrived to arrest them, but he was bitten. Plenty of zombies showed up, so June, Hay, and Namju hid in the building. They studied Min's instructions and then equipped themselves so that no zombies could bite them. Meanwhile, Min escaped the dead, stole a truckload of fireworks, and drove off to rescue his own. As he drove, Namju went into labor, except she had no time to give birth because the zombies broke in, and they had to hide in the barn. At that moment, Min arrived and tried to shoot the dead with fireworks, but something went wrong, and all the barrels of fireworks burst into flames. At least the sight of it caught the zombies' attention, and they forgot about the people for a while. Then things got even worse. The lights in the sky attracted zombies from all over the city, and they surrounded the gas station. But that was the least of their problems because Namju was giving birth. Min decided to hitch the camper van to June's tow truck and take the mother in labor to safety. To get through the crowd of zombies to the car, they would use the zombies' old clothes. That way the dead won't smell them. The brothers did manage to reach the car, but it turned out that the keys were left in June's room. At that time, the car was surrounded by dead men, and Hay had to save her brothers. She went out against the zombies with a trimmer, but there were too many of them. At that moment, a zombie appeared and prevented his brethren from killing the beloved. Meanwhile, one zombie on the roof got tangled up in wires and accidentally turned on the music. The lights flickered on, the dead men started partying, and Hay managed to escape. June also tried to get into the gas station building, but then the music died down, and one could hear his just-born baby crying. The zombies rushed toward the barn at the sound of crying, and June tried to stop them. However, Min forced him to go after the keys. It was the only way they could help Namju and the others. June got the keys, but the zombies grabbed him. Min had to handle it alone. Hay had already hidden in the van, and her zombie friend was protecting the entrance from his fellow zombies until they left. Turning around in the tow truck, Min hit the filling column, and everything around him was doused with gas. That's when June came back to him. He had survived the attack. They took Hay and Namju away with the newborn. Watching them drive away, the zombie student said her name aloud. The other dead men realized that he was alive again and pounced on him. But the boy managed to set fire to the spilled gasoline and blow up his attackers. He even survived after that. The pile of bodies protected him from the explosion. In the morning, June turned into a zombie. Min stopped the car at the tunnel. Deok got out of it. He had just returned from vacation and had to walk home because of the zombie apocalypse. It turns out Deok has something in his blood that kills the zombie virus. So when Min heard over the radio that people like him could cure the rest, he came up with a way to save everyone. They began to gather the zombies in a line and then had Deok bite them in the arm. After that, they would become human again. Deok bit thousands of hands to heal the population. The first one he bit, however, was his son. June was cured and was now helping his relatives as he had before. The zombie student was with them too. He became human. And that's where the movie ends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to watch more movie recaps videos like this.